Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? I've just got lots of things, so I'm just pressing go live on lots of things. I don't know what's happening. How is everyone doing? Are you all good? Drop us a little note, say hi. I've abandoned Cheryl today and I'm with my gorgeous Sandra. I'll give you hugs. I mean, it's not right that you look this glamorous on a Friday morning, lady.
Oh, will you stop? Will you stop? It's the joys of lipstick. You know how big my lipstick collection is, right?
Oh
I
my
think I
God.
have close to 300 lipsticks and lip glosses.
No, do
Yeah.
you?
All different, all same colors, but like there's lots of different textures, there's lots of different finishes. So it
Wow.
doesn't matter how bad you feel in the day, you pop a nice lipstick on and you feel great.
Sandra, I feel like such a basic bitch. Like literally all I've got is like I've got me Elizabeth Arden. I'm show you. This is it. This is my lipstick collection. Elizabeth
You love
Arden.
your 8 hour cream, don't you? Well, I don't blame you. That is a magic product, to be fair.
I do have a one called I've got a Bobby Brown. No, it's not Bobby Brown. MAC lip gloss. This is what you tuned in for, isn't it? To hear about me and Sandra talk about lipstick. Called Lust, and I just think I'm like I'm rocking when I wear that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I break
You
down
feel
every
very
week.
lusty.
Yeah, it's funny though. Like when we did the TEDx talk the other week, and Amanda, our makeup artist, put lipstick on, and I was like, I just feel funny. Like I just feel weird. Like I'm not me with it on. Do you know what I mean? But when you see it on, when you see the TEDx talk, it does actually look really nice. I think I would have looked a bit bare without it, but it's quite natural. Do you know? But I felt like I was like,
Oh no, you looked beautiful. I saw both of you. You looked absolutely stunning,
oh.
rocking that TEDx stage.
I can't wait. Final
I
edits are done,
know.
so it'll be with everybody soon. But we
Oh,
haven't come to talk about me
excellent.
or my lipsticks. We're coming to talk about you.
Ah, about
I
me.
know. I know. And if you are here, say hi. It'll be amazing. She's got Satinda's got a massive collection as well. Love it. It's the way forward. I'm going to go and get myself on
Absolutely.
again and send you all a photo.
Much cheaper than a shoes addiction as well.
Yeah, well, you see, this is where I'm going wrong. Shoes and bags are my thing. But so Sandra, we first spoke, didn't we? I think was it March, April time, or a little bit earlier this year?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were
Definitely.
connected on LinkedIn, weren't we? But we hadn't had
Hmm.
like any deep connection or anything like that. And I just did a little poll, didn't I? I did a little
Did.
poll asking like what mindset things. I'm going to do one later actually or tomorrow. Like what mindset things would you most like help with? Is it
Hmm.
sales? Is it and I put a couple of suggestions on there and a few of you answered and then we spoke from that, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So, March time, I had just left my corporate role full time
Yes.
to, yeah. So I was definitely in that period of change, wasn't I, where I had just taken the steps to go out on my own in my business full time. And you had put out a poll, as you correctly said, and I answered because that's what I felt I needed help with at the time, right?
Yes.
And we got chatting, and I attended your Selling with Certainty and Soul
Yeah,
challenge,
that was it. I was trying to think
which I
which one.
loved,
It was
which
the first
was,
time we've done that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
massive, massive eye opener for me in so many ways. It was an amazing challenge. And then on the back of that challenge, obviously we had a chat, and it was the right time for me to jump into the elite.
I love
So yeah, it was amazing. I jumped into the elite then from June, I
it. It
believe.
was June, yeah, by
Yeah,
the time we spoke and we had things, holidays and such. So it was like the June time, wasn't it?
absolutely. Yeah. And it's been an amazing experience for me over the last number of months, both working with you and Cheryl as my coaches. You're both phenomenal. You know what I think of you both. You've been life changing for me, but
Mm.
also having that connection with the ladies in the group has just been phenomenal. Just that network. And I
Yeah,
was actually reflecting on it with my husband last night, and I was just saying, that network and having that at your fingertips and your availability and being able to bounce your business ideas as well as like maybe your mindset challenges wherever you're at in that space, just having that network at your fingertips, it's just I can't really articulate it in terms of having that function and that available to you at all times. It really is, it's hard to put into words.
but the thing is with the network, and I always say I was chatting to so another lady who saw Tara's live the other
Hmm.
day, jumped in, messaged me, we jumped in, she jumped in yesterday. So she got our newest Elite Soul sister. I'll be celebrating her on socials later. But I was trying to articulate it as well. And I said, I think it's just because there's really nowhere, like your friends don't always necessarily get the journey that you're on when you're setting your business up
No.
and leaving corporate. They don't get what it's like being the mum and trying to, because what we do isn't necessarily the most common place of life. It is once you come
Mm.
into this world, and a lot of entrepreneurs, but I think when you've had a large network of corporate friends and stuff, it's
Yeah.
just very different, isn't it? So I think having people at your fingertips who get it and who get that you've got these massive dreams and massive
Yeah.
ambitions where you can come and go. I've had this crazy idea, like I want to launch a podcast or I want to write a book or I
100%.
want to do, and people aren't looking at you going, oh, like that's nice, pet.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And I think if I just bring that back to like my own experience, like my family thought I was mental when I left my career. Like getting to that level in your career, working morning, noon, and night for years to get to that, to suddenly turn around and go, what? You're leaving? Are you a crazy lady? So I didn't have that support network at home.
Yeah,
I was in a different space of my life to many of my, my personal relationships and that. So this space it kind of it allows you to be able to speak freely about it openly, but not have to kind of shrink yourself down or talk down about your dreams or your ambitions or where you want to go.
exactly. And I think as well when you speak to friends, because they think that you're mad, especially if you're in that transition. I mean, when they start seeing you earning more money than you did in corporate and stuff, they're
Mm.
like, oh, what's this all about then?
Yeah,
But at first, it's like you said, it's a bit like, have you lost your mind? Are you having
it's
a
a
midlife?
no-no.
And you don't necessarily want to burden them. So then if you are having a time when it feels difficult or challenging, or you're feeling like, God, am I doing the right thing? You don't feel like you can necessarily say that to them
No,
because they don't get it, right? Like we love
no.
them, they just don't get it. They're not in the same space.
No, and that's what it is. As you correctly say, we love them, but they're just in a different space. So being able to have that circle of trust that
Yeah.
you can go into, via our Voxer community, in our calls, just being able to have that community and being able to freely speak about that and openly talking about it it's a huge asset. It's I don't think I realized how much I needed that support until I got it. Does that make
Honestly,
sense?
you don't,
Yeah.
because I don't think you've ever really necessarily had it. Like Cheryl and
No.
I say this all the time. We created what we would have loved to have had.
Yeah.
And we always felt lucky because there was both of us. And I'm always like, how do the people on their own do it? Like
Yeah.
they must be going crazy, like sat in their offices going,
Yeah.
talking to like social media, like is anyone listening? Especially when it's the early stages of your business and you're like, am I literally
Unbelievable.
screaming into a void?
And you know this, right, as well as I do. You leave your corporate career and you have your zone of genius, but you've all these support functions around you who do everything, right? They do
Yeah.
the marketing, they do the finances, they do, all of the things. Then you go out into your own and it's
Social.
almost,
Yeah.
and you feel like, well, my own experience was I felt a bit like a dinosaur because I hadn't kind of stayed up to date on the marketing stuff. Canva, Jesus Christ, how am I going to work with Canva? All of these things. You have to go and you have to learn all of this stuff and you have to start again. But having a community like the elite where you can bring those questions in, because let's be frank, there's very successful ladies in that community that have walked the walk before you. So being able to bring your questions and your concerns or I have an idea about this, what would you do, and getting that immediate instant advice
Yeah.
is massive.
It is huge, isn't it? Because this is what we found. I've got a runny nose. I'm so sorry. I've got the tissues out.
You
But this is
okay?
what we found is that can you fathom it out on your own? 100% you can. But isn't it just easier to pick up? Like when you go into Fox and go, has anyone done this before? Has anyone
Mm,
done this? Or does anyone know how to use this? Or what's the best tech to get for this? And because
yeah,
that's why it's a mastermind. You've got like women in there with all different businesses, different levels of experience from marketing, sales, like there's just everybody in there, isn't there? So there's always
yeah,
somebody finances that knows what the crack is with it.
yeah. There's an expert for everything, so it's brilliant.
Oh, there's
It's
Michelle. Another one,
Michelle.
Charlie, is absolutely lovely. We've got
Mm,
this amazing group of ladies in elite membership and being able to support each other. And you and Cheryl, oh, amazing mentors too. I'm so blessed being your one. Oh, we love you so much. This is Cheryl, isn't it? I spent hours learning all the tech stuff in the elite. Someone always knows the answer,
that's
100%.
it.
And I think when Cheryl and I started, we just didn't have the network. We were like literally called out of corporate again back 5 years ago, nearly 6 years ago. There wasn't before COVID, online stuff just wasn't in my way. We just didn't know about it. So we
No,
came hot out to corporate, didn't have the network. And I was like, oh my God, there are people literally building businesses on Instagram. What's
yeah,
this about? Because I was literally a dinosaur, like you said, I didn't know anything about this stuff. So we spent that first year working harder than we'd ever worked, but earning less money than we'd ever earned because our trajectory, it was so slow to get it off the ground because we were literally starting cold. So for you girls, we always want to go, right, okay, what's the goal? How do we get you there fastest? And I think part of what we love to do with you is tell you what not to do as well. It's
Yeah.
like, that's great, not right now. Because when you start off, especially us as corporate, you want to do all the things and look fabulous and look like it's all, and it's like, yeah, but that's not going to earn you money yet, and that's not going to attract your clients, and that's not going to help you, is it?
Yeah, I'm laughing because that's where I was when we met, right? I talked to you about like shiny object syndrome. So I kept thinking, I have to do this course and I have to do that and I have to learn this and I have to do that. But
No.
no, yeah,
No,
yeah,
just get your ass on lives and let's talk about what you're doing,
yeah.
and let's, but, and just tell, and I think you are sitting in that amazing position that so many women would love to do, but feel like they're scared, they'll never earn the
Mm.
same money, it'll be, they might fail, people will think they're stupid, people will think they won't not qualified enough. Let's face it, most high performing corporate women, as you
Mm.
were, and like, are the most riddled with imposter syndrome. Like,
Yeah,
they're the most likely to not want to
yeah,
do it right. So they
yeah.
have this dream in the heart, but the actual thought of it is
Mm.
terrifying.
Yeah, it is, right. And I suppose I take a deep breath when you say that because that's the space I was in. You know, there was that voice inside me that wanted something different. I knew I had a different purpose. I knew there was a different path out there for me. I wanted something different, but it's all of those fears that start to come into play. You know, as you've correctly taught me, you know, we get attached to the income stream where the money has come from, and we don't necessarily understand that we can make it successful and generate income from other things. So there's so much to work through, right? There's just so much to learn. And I think for me, I left that space. I knew I wanted to do it. I was brave. I took the step. Then you get out there and, you know, coming into this community was able to guide me through the next steps. But I think where I was at was, and I think you and Cheryl will probably laugh at this because I was at that white knuckling life stage, wasn't I? Like, you know, Mrs.
What's happened to Ted?
Controller.
Like,
Yeah, Mrs. Controller, you know, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And why hasn't this worked? And, you know, I was just in that very much my masculine energy, my control phase,
yeah,
and like everything was hustle, hustle,
push,
hustle
push, push. Yeah,
because I was connected to the how. How
yeah.
is it going to happen? And I think
Mm,
the biggest transformation for me over the last number of months working with you guys has been learning to trust and letting go of that fear and approaching my business from a place of my feminine energy,
yeah,
letting go of that control and, you know, but taking the action, the inspired action from a place of intention. I know it's going to happen, right? Instead of this masculine energy, this hustle mode, which we all know
yeah.
drives us to burnout. That's not what we can sustain in our business. That's not the emotion that is going to give us that business of longevity that we really need and, you know, where we want to go in life. So for me, it's been a 360 mindset shift, going from that controlling Mrs. Controller, you know,
Get shit
always needs
done.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
to just have a little bit of trust and have faith the work will still get done in the same way with even better quality because you're probably putting more thought and creativity into it,
Mm.
but you're just relinquishing that control a little bit. And like I can't, that work for me was massive. You saw me go through that shift when we went to the retreat in
Oh,
France, right? And you
huge,
could
I get
see
it.
the physical impact that because I'd learned to live my life that way as
Yeah.
being controlling, and that had served me all my life, but having to
Exactly, it had worked, right? So your
it had
subconscious is like, wait a minute, Sandra, this
mm,
program's worked really well. You've
mm,
done pretty well out of it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Why
it
let it go?
got you to that career, it got you there. So that program, it can still help you in your business, but the reality is it didn't get me there in my career. It got me to a place of burnout, being unhappy, not seeing my kids, not having the validation internally but looking externally for that. And in my career, if I had in my business, if I had allowed it to follow the same trajectory, I probably wouldn't be here sitting talking to you now in my first year in business with a successful business, right? So, and I think that's the reality. So the work that you and Cheryl do is not just about showing us the way from two people that have built a successful business. You work on so much more than that in terms of helping us to build that foundation from the bottom up
Yeah.
so that we can build those careers and those businesses that we want.
I love that. I love that. And like, how is your life different now? Because we've said like Sandra's lived the most abundant life, but like for us, like spoiler alert, is the abundance isn't necessarily money. We want you to make amazing
Yeah.
money, but we know because we've done it in corporate and all the other places, right, that we can make amazing money and still not feel happy, fulfilled, or purposeful. So for
Mm,
us, the abundance is the richness of our life with our family, with our purpose, with our mission, and with our money. It's like it
yeah.
gets to be all those things, doesn't it? So what is
Yeah.
life like now compared to like how it was 12 months ago?
Oh, I love that question. I love it. Um, so a huge turning point for me, definitely working with you guys and reflecting back, is that I've been able to redefine my definition of success. So
Mm,
growing up, my belief was good career, material things, all of those materialistic type of things. But what I learned was that actually wasn't my definition of success. That was a belief that I had acquired over the years.
love that.
And when you're trying to operate in a space where you're trying to adhere to a belief that's not even yours, well, that's something else that leads us to burnout,
Yeah,
right? That's you're living kind of fraudulently within in yourself, and something doesn't feel aligned.
yeah.
So
Which exacerbates the imposter syndrome because
exactly.
there's this misalignment, so we feel more like a fraud, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm,
So for me, I've been able to upgrade my definition of success in line with my belief, which is freedom, flexibility in my life, that freedom, that time to be able to spend with my family, because success for me is spending time with my family, spending quality time, and having the career that allows me to do that and that allows me to focus on my kids and my life. And I live in Spain. I have the most beautiful, outdoor lifestyle, and I wasn't enjoying it or getting to be present with my family to enjoy that. So being able to upgrade my beliefs to what's actually in line with my values, I didn't have that 12 months ago. So I feel that I wasn't really living as Sandra. I didn't really know who Sandra was.
yeah.
Um, and now I think that I'm a lot more comfortable in who I am. I feel a lot more connected to who I am. Um, I own my voice a lot more. Do you know what I mean? Without worrying who thinks about me.
Yeah.
It's me. So I feel like I'm operating in a space of my own authenticity. If that
Oh,
makes sense.
oh my God, I've got all the chills. I've got all the chills. And I think this is why I love, you have to make sure you follow Sandra, especially if you're on Instagram. I'm like, where are you today? Sandra having a coffee with a gorgeous vista in the background. The Bairns like are having like the living their best life. You've bought your dream house now. It's currently being renovated,
Yay.
which is insane.
And yeah, like this is still pinch me, right? And we're in the temporary house at the moment, but we move in now on the 15th to the dream home, and which is still work in progress, right? But you also know that this is something this was on my vision board, right?
Yeah.
And the manifestation and the vision of that, I was standing in the garden of that house looking back at the veranda. Um, but but when I moved to Spain, I think this is a story that I like to say, is that I never thought that was possible for us. Like we were never those people that lived in a house like that. So being
Yeah.
able to work towards that and feel that, well, yes, actually I am a person who lives in a house like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being able to work towards that and take the steps to get to it has just been massive. And it goes back to everything that you and Cheryl teach us, that we have to collapse time, and you live that identity now, because time doesn't know whether you're living in that house or not. You just have to believe that you can live in that house and take the
Uh-huh.
steps to work towards it.
And then and then you're standing, visiting the house, going, "Oh my God, this is literally the
It's
house
the
off my
house.
vision board. Look at it. There's the
You're like,
floor."
what?
Isn't it insane though? And it's happened. That's what I think with all of you women that we get the joy to work with, is like it blows my mind how fast it
Mm,
happens and how much time collapses once you step into that identity. And it's literally like in months, what you've dreamed about for years
yeah,
is real. Like even this time last year, the thought of you buying that house, you would have laughed. Even if I'd said that to you in March, you would
I
have
would have
laughed.
laughed. I would laugh. Just no, I can't do that and set up my own business in the 1 year. That's too risky. Like, who does that? What crazy people do that? But actually, you can set up your own business. You can make your business successful in the first year. You can, go and operate and go for your dream home.
Yeah.
You can do that. Your life can change so much in a year.
Yeah.
Um, And I know, and this is, you know, I would have walked over hot ashes and coal and, you know, dead bodies and everything to get to where I am now in the past. You know, that's where I wanted to be. So to be sitting here and in this place and it's happening, it's just massive for me. I'm so
Oh my
grateful to you guys for your community. You know that.
I know it, and we love it because obviously we've got you in the elite, and we're going to be doing one-to-one work with you as well for the next few months, which is insane. And I think, yeah, I mean, we could bang on all day, couldn't we, about how amazing the elite is and just how
Yeah.
game changing it is. But it really isn't. We bring it together because we created, like I said, what we wanted. But you women are just like, you just blow our mind, like, because you actually have the courage to go, just show me what to do and I'll go and do it. And then you just do. And that's when, because the results are inevitable. Like, I don't feel like it's like Tara was saying the other day about people would say, oh, it's risky. It's really not. Like
Mm.
when you stand in that power of, I know this is what I want. And if I want it, then it must be for me. It must be possible. And then we just say, it just explodes, don't we, in ways that you could never have imagined, faster than you could ever have imagined. Because you were like me, I'd sort of started off going, well, in 5 years, I'd like to have set up my coaching business. And within months, it was there, it was live, I had clients.
Yeah.
And because once you just claim it and own it and just say, like, I can't imagine not having it.
Mm.
It's just, and I was the same when I wanted to have Caleb. It's the same principles, right? It's like I just knew I couldn't imagine a life of not having this little boy that I'd seen in my
Yeah.
vision, in my dream, he was so real to me. So it didn't matter what doctors and stuff were saying. I was like,
It's going to
whatever.
happen.
I know that that will happen. So
Mhm.
when you show up to your business with that same inevitability, you then don't get as hung up about something dipping or something picking up or da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then the more you see it, the more you then believe it. So then it creates a momentum of its own, right?
Exactly. And I think one of the big mind blowing moments for me was my very first one-to-one with Cheryl. And I had clients at that point, one-to-one clients, and they were dotted across Europe, across the world. And I kept saying, you know, I was stuck in that place of comparison and lack of belief. I was like, I just want to be an international coach, you know. And Cheryl said, well, you coach now, right? You've got clients. Yeah, yeah. And where are your clients based? And I started naming off all these locations. And she goes, that sounds a bit international to me, Sandra. And I was like, oh my God, I am an international coach. And it was like, I was like, but I'm already doing it. But it just took somebody to sit in front of me and raise the mirror up for me
Mirror.
to be able to flip that reframe. And then after that moment, I felt like skipping along because I was already doing it.
Oh
The
my God.
evidence was there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But because when you're in it and you're on your own trying to work it out, you're chasing this success.
Mm.
And it's like, so you're getting clients and like, yeah, that's great, but I'll need more. And again, it's like, well, when I get to a 5K month or a 10K month or a 100K month. And so women that we see doing that, this is what we see all the time. We'll get to a million month and we've seen it and they go, right, and what's next? And you're like, because they're not really present and taking it in, enjoying it, that abundance. And to me, that's the success, is when you get to enjoy the journey, whatever it looks like,
Yeah.
because you know that it's working out as it's meant to.
Yeah.
Take your time and
100%.
enjoy it. Like, why you you're in such a rush? It's like,
Yeah. And we're white knuckling it then and forgetting, you know, what's going on around us.
and then the funny thing is that when you then forget the time frame that you're insisting that you have to have, it happens. Because
Yes.
you're so obsessed that it's got to happen now that you're not even seeing, like you said, that it is already done.
Yeah. It's all happening and unfolding
Cheryl
around
must
us.
remember that one-to-one. I remember her telling me about it, feels like 2 minutes ago. Donna used to say, have you Googled it? Yeah, have you Googled it? I say it all the time. Shiny object syndrome, you ladies have helped me step away from almost that, yeah. Because a lot of the time, all women love a qualification. God knows I love a
Mm.
qualification. But there's a difference in, like, am I doing this especially, or am I doing this course because I genuinely think that this right now is what my business needs, or what my life needs, or what my health needs, rather than, God, if I don't have this, like, I'm missing out. There's a lot of FOMO, and we are suckers for a good bit of marketing. Let's
Yeah.
face it.
Yeah.
Trust, faith, and knowing, 100%. So, Sandra, just tell as well. For people that might be new, your audience, and make sure you connect with Sandra because she is an incredible coach. Who do you love, like, in your mission? Who are the people that you're helping?
Mm.
Share with that, like, some of the successes that your clients are having. Because one of the
Yay!
stats dropped the other day, I was like, my God, we need to get that all over everywhere.
Yay! Yeah, it's amazing. So my business is Sandra Laurie Coaching, And I work with senior female leaders who either want to take that next step into seniority in the role, or they're in that first year. And I work with them at the moment through one-to-one coaching through my bespoke program, which is called Boardroom Breakthrough.
Boardroom Breakthrough.
And
I just love it. Boardroom Breakthrough. It's bloody fabulous.
I love it too. Do you know, you get attached to something? It's like your
Yeah.
baby. And I think what's different about my program is it does the mindset and the practical work, but it also teaches you those practical skills from my own experience as a senior executive.
Yeah.
So I've walked that path, and we work on modules like strategy, break it down. You know, why are so many talented, wonderful leaders out there, female leaders, scared of the word strategy? We don't need to be. So we work on all those practical things that you may come up against in your early stages in that senior role, so that you don't have to do it alone. But we also work on the mindset piece, you know, getting you comfortable with setting those boundaries so you don't become encompassed in that new role. So yeah.
That is so true. The word strategy literally used to send the fear of God up me. And I think because I've gone from operationally then sitting, like you said, in boardrooms and P&L meetings, people would say strategy. And it was like the same that when Mr. Galt in maths used to talk about algebra, I just used to do the rabbit in the headlights thing again and go, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's the inner thing, isn't it? You just shut down. It's like, it's just a plan, people.
Exactly. And, you know, I say to my clients, but you do this every day. It's a plan to get you from A to B. And it's just about, if you think about how you do it at home, it's your plan to get from A to C, and you bring everybody on that journey with you at home in your house, and you're bloody amazing at managing your household. You take that exact same concept and you bring it into your work. But because it's a word that we don't identify with and we don't see ourselves as strategic, it all of a sudden becomes really, really scary.
It's so true. And again, that imposter syndrome then starts playing up, doesn't it, when we're in the boardroom, and then we'll feel like we're not really leaning in and adding the value that we want because we're all in our own heads. Yeah. So your program, Boardroom Breakthrough, has got what % success rate now?
100%. So everyone that has worked with me this year has got their promotion. So it's amazing. And that's my purpose. You know, that's what lights me up, you know, seeing those amazing women take that step and move into what's rightfully theirs and own it.
100% success rate, people. That is a program that you want to get your arse in. If you're even thinking about going for these promotions, this is the thing, isn't it? It's like, do the work now and get yourself lined up as well.
Get ready. Absolutely. You know, if you've got your eyes on that promotion, you have to start doing the work first. Yeah. So this is the program that helps you step into that with ease.
Damn right it is. But it's like you said, it's because you've walked the walk. Like that's money,
I know.
By experience.
Yeah, and as you and Cheryl said, you set up your business on the basis of what you needed. I've set up mine on the basis of what I didn't have when I took that step into those senior positions. You know, let's be frank, you're lonely. You know, you don't see, this is another thing that you can't always talk to your family and friends about back home because they may not share the same path as you. Yeah. So, you know, having somebody, having that support system that knows exactly how you're feeling is what inspired me to set up my mission.
Yeah, I love that. And I think especially when you're in corporate, when you share, like if you're having difficulty with another senior member of the table or whatever, and unless people have been in those rooms, it is quite hard to really get where, because it's like, well, just tell them that they're being a knob. It's like, what's
no, you can't. And it's
There's
not
so
safe.
much political stuff it's not safe. Exactly. You don't feel safe, and you're worried that you're not good enough to be there in the first place, and you just look at that you got the seat, so you don't want to rock the boat. So
exactly,
got all this internal warfare going on, and your program really helps anyone come to terms with, so that noise is simmered down, and that you have a strategy and a plan for how to go about this, so that you're really present and being able to perform like you want to be.
That's exactly it.
Holding yourself back.
That's exactly it. You know, we work on you feeling safe in you. So it doesn't matter what you come up against in terms of what challenges do you come up against in the boardroom? What difficult relationship do you have to navigate? We work through all of it so that you own that identity, so that you own that seat, that you remember why you got there in the first place.
Own the seat. I mean, I have chills now. I have chills. This is more like a podcast, by the way, isn't
it? I love an old podcast.
We love a podcast. So best way to connect with you then, Sandra, is obviously watching this, then connect. But
Absolutely. You can check me out on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm always on LinkedIn or Instagram. So it's Sandra Laurie Coaching. That's my handle on both. And please do pop over and say hello.
yeah,
And I love to, if anyone's having, workplace challenges and they just want, a quick brainstorm, drop me a note. My inbox is always open.
yeah, you are amazing. I love you to bits. And if you want to
Oh,
get
thank you.
really close to Sandra as well, you are invited to join our elite retreat next week, because we are doing our last retreat of the year for our elite ladies is online, so that everybody can attend no matter where they are. The chateau will be next June again. For those
Chateau.
who want to
Everyone
join.
needs a chateau experience in their life, and I really, really mean that.
It's next level, isn't it? It's just
It's
next
next
level.
level.
Pauline's just saying very inspiring. Oh, you're
Oh,
welcome.
you're so welcome, Pauline.
And so next week, when we're together for 2 evenings, and we will be really getting clarity and mapping out that strategy and the desires and the intentions, whatever you want to call it, for what we want 2024 to be like for us and what some of those
Hmm.
big things are. We'll be doing some coaching, we'll be doing mindset work, we'll be collapsing time, we'll be getting energetically ready and getting ourselves into that identity of the person
Hmm.
who's already achieved that, so that it feels inevitable and we're not entering 2024 scratching our asses,
Well, that's
wondering
it.
what we want to do. It's like, and you girls work on a role, you're always setting intentions and goals, aren't you? So it's not like anything major on it. This for us is like how we roll, but we get to do it all together.
Yeah.
So if you want to come now, like the people who are making the decisions and jumping in, like the client yesterday, aren't leaving 2024 a chance. It's like, do the work now, whether it's enrolling in one of Sandra's programs, our programs, or with another coach you see, like do the work now and get involved now, because
Absolutely.
there is only now. Like this is the time that you own.
And what's the question that you always ask us? How would you feel in 12 months and you look back and you're in the same spot? And if there's anyone out there, thinking of investing in themselves and taking that, so just ask yourself that question, because I know when you asked me that question, the panic that came over me, I can't be in this space in 12 months. I can't. So it's imperative to start taking the steps now so that your 2024 looks different.
So I spoke to a lady a couple of days ago, and she said, like, I'm so angry, like I'm literally in the same place as I was
Yeah.
12 months ago. I'm like, it is done now. What we're going to do differently? Because if you're going to keep
Yeah.
doing the same thing, you're going to have more regrets in another 12 months. And a
That's
life
it.
of regrets is just no way to live, right? So
That's
100%,
it.
I love that question. So drop me a DM and I will tell you all about the retreat and how you can join our elite. Or if you want to do one-to-one, just drop us a message. And if you love the sound of boardroom breakthrough, connect with Sandra and drop Sandra a message and just share this, because there'll be women in your network who this conversation will bring so much value to them, just to know that they're not alone and they're not going crazy and other people feel like they do right now, right? So pay it
That's
forward.
it. We need to keep talking about how we're all feeling, at work, in our careers, normalizing these discussions. And the
Yeah,
more we have, the more they're normal.
exactly. Or stop shit shaming ourselves just for having human emotions, as I always say.
That's it. That's
Like,
it. Trying to lock them in a box. It doesn't work. It doesn't
does
work.
not work. It doesn't work. Right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Drop us a message. Come say hi. Sandra, we love you so
Mwah.
much.
Love you.
I
Love
love you.
you.
Bye, guys. Have a lovely weekend.